one to M. It's been a minute since we saw this one, but we finally have the Ministry of Transportation approval on the bylaw. And so now we're looking for adoption tonight.
That's a pretty exciting project. Any questions, council? All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. No one's opposed, right? No. I can't see, Councillor Rich.
It's on there.
Not on yet.
Oh,
Can you re-email her the link?
Can you re-email Councillor Rich the link?
Thank you.
Okay, zoning amendment bylaw number 1127/2026, 11095 Shuswap Avenue. Recommendation of the district to second zoning amendment bylaw number 1127/2026 be given first, second, and third reading this 22nd day of July 2026. Councillor Evans, Councillor Bailey, Nicole.
Hey, thank you. Duncan's just pulling up a few slides. This will be the first time that council has seen the proposal for 1095 Shuswap Avenue, but we did just talk about it last week in length at the Planning and Development Committee, so it'll be fresh in their minds. Okay, so the proposal is obviously to the former Haven facility. There's 28 existing units there that are anticipated to be demolished. And so the proposal tonight is to rezone from MUR1 to MHP1, Mobile Home Park. And the proposal is to have the full site redeveloped as a mobile home park intended for seniors housing. In this proposal, no lands will be reserved for apartment development. That's important to note. Okay, so in the development model, and obviously the applicants are in the room today in the gallery. So Eagle Valley Senior Citizens Housing Society has let us know that they have the opportunity to acquire up to 22 mobile home units. And the idea would be to sell these mobile homes to individual occupants who live on the property, and then EVS would retain the land. And so they would do a long-term pad rental, and then that's some revenue coming in for the society. In terms of OCP and the zoning bylaw, so no concerns there. So OCP, the density of what is proposed for this development works. Mobile homes are really listed specifically under the medium density residential designation, but obviously the use is residential and it contributes to seniors housing. So we can support that. Zoning bylaw. So this is where we've had a bit of discussion with the applicant and then at the planning committee. So the lot size and layout, depending on what the layout is, supports about 18 mobile homes. And so obviously they've let us know they can have, or they could maybe get up to about 22 units. And so the density under the zoning wouldn't quite work, but the bylaw that's being proposed today doesn't allow for any additional variances to density, but it would allow the society to move forward with this proposal and put together something that could work. And then we might expect a future application for maybe a site-specific reg to vary the density on this lot. So what they're proposing now would work for about 18 units based on the site layout. They'd have to do some work there. And then anything beyond that might be another site-specific reg, but that can be dealt with down the road. I had a slide on the finance piece. Bianca probably can say it better than I can, but the property today receives a permissive tax exemption and pays no property taxes. And so we had quite a few discussions with the applicant because there would be some changes with this proposal on that. So because the modular homes are individually owned, or that's the proposal, they wouldn't be exempt on their improvement value. And then the society would keep the land within its seniors housing mandate. And so they would still be eligible for an exemption on the land value. So that's been communicated to the applicant. But that is what could occur with this reasoning. I think I have the resolution on the left side from the Planning and Development Committee. There was discussion about what if this didn't work out and the mobile home park plan didn't proceed. After the property is rezoned, it's obviously zoned that. So the recommendation from the committee was that let's go forward with the proposal. We can get them started on the road to making it happen. And then should it not happen, they just recommend that council would seriously consider rezoning it back to its zoning designation of MUR1. Just a recommendation. And so really, there's just the biggest consideration for council tonight on the rezoning is this a development that the community would like to see in this location? And so in that map, we're just showing that this is as if it was rezoned to MHP1. Got some light orange in there. All of that is MUR1 around it. The yellow is residential. We got some pink in there, of course, in the town center core. That's all commercial. And then the dark orange is the mobile home park one. So we've got the existing park across from our office here, and then this proposed property. If this is supported, then we have a ton of conceptual plans that have been submitted. They'd have to be obviously formalized, and then future development permits would come to council, and then we would proceed with building permits. That's it.
Council questions? Councilor Evans?
Thank you through the chair. I understand the rationale, and I would say I'm feeling 50-50 on this idea right now. I guess part of my reason that I'm hesitant a little bit is that I'm wondering if seniors that need this kind of housing could afford to buy these units, because if they have to buy them new, they're not cheap like they used to be. And so that's one question I have. No, I'm sure you guys have done your research, but it's one concern I have, because one of the reasons that I think that you guys want to do this is so that there's more affordable seniors housing. So I'm guessing that I'm guessing the people buying these units would probably be coming from out of town. A lot of them, maybe some of them would be in town already, but I'm just thinking out loud about this. I'm kind of torn on it, because I wouldn't normally want to say yes to a new mobile home park within the district of Sicamous. Not that I'm against mobile home parks. I lived in Sycamoose Creek Mobile Home Park for 7 years. I lived here. So not at all in that way. I'm just thinking through these things. So.
Thank you, Councilor Rich.
Hi, I think we need to maybe have a pause on this. Have we talked to the neighbors? I've had a few of the neighbors that have housing there that are very worried that this is going to decrease their property value. My other concern is being on the housing committee, we have always talked about building up in density. And so this absolutely, we're actually decreasing spaces. And I also feel like with the NDP pulling all our housing, if people pay attention to what the BC government is doing right now, but I kind of feel like when election time comes, we may get that money again to build the duplicate apartment, which has 36 units where everybody is happy. So by putting these 18 units on, we're actually decreasing housing for seniors, and it is a pay-as-you-go. It isn't through BC Housing, so we're not accommodating people that perhaps don't have that kind of money.
Thank you. Councillor McCabe.
Well, I always support more housing for seniors in our community, and I think, the price range would probably be affordable. A lot of seniors are downsizing out of single detached homes into something smaller, more manageable. My question through the chair would be, what year, there's 22 modular or mobile homes picked out for this site, if I'm understanding that correctly. What year or make or model, what kind of mobile homes are these? Do we have any pictures? What year? How old are they?
Do you have that information? Or
It would probably be better if the society spoke to what they potentially could purchase.
Jeff, did you want to answer that question?
Start answering all of them.
Or are you making yourself a list right now? Okay. Sorry, then go ahead, Malcolm, you can finish.
Well, I'm done. I was hoping maybe Jeff could answer it through the chair. Counselor or.
I don't have an issue.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair, so I can touch on all the previous questions and then.
Sure.
I can just go through it. So if you pull the map up of where you have the nice orange. Or what? So the yellow behind it is R1, was the ambulance service. That's all what we call the forest. So it's all the trees. So it's 316 Gordon Monroe Lane. That one back behind it. Yeah, that. So we looked at putting a building on there. Back the building before the district graciously gave us the problem, put it on. So we had a whole proposal into the district or to BC Housing, put a twin system on it. That's what we made the application for. We actually have a DP for that. But waiting there is supposed to happen in October. It's supposed to happen at Christmas time. And they said, oh, we'll wait till the budget. Then they never said anything. The budget came out, page 72, no money for housing. Period. Not done. So it's probably 5, maybe 10 years before you'll see any money. It doesn't matter what government comes back in. They don't have it. They're not meeting some of the obligations to existing operations already. They're telling us we need to fund it. So if they came back and be more than happy to put in another unit of 37 units in the trees, we could put 2 trees. So there's enough land there. There's over 2 acres there, so that's what we do. But right now, we have a tear down. Can't leave it there. It's 500,000 plus. We don't have money. BC government's not giving us any. Exhaust of all other avenues. So this is a way to raise some funding, put these 20 units on there, sell them. And the sale price will be approximately 300,000. It's inner city. So people that are living, elderlies that are living, maybe possibly or have a house in the tree streets or something. This is an affordable, closed down size. So that's the cost of it. They were built by ATCO, a sub company called Atlas. They're 2 years old. Some of them have never been lit. The siding is hardy. So they're not. Some of the trailer parks that are in town here, they're older models. 6, 7. So, but these are all, yes, the staff has photographs of them. The reason for the zoning change was it's a lot of legwork to get the civil and everything done up to the point of actually. Some people suggest that the cars works. If you don't allow the zoning instead, I'm a volunteer personally. I'm not willing to put in 500 hours of my time. I'd sooner do it today if that's what I want. It's mayor council decision on zoning application. And I respect that. But for the sake of the society, we still have work to do to prove this out. Like I'm not going to do it in bankrupt society, but the society has an existing mortgage to pay off. It has that building to tear down between the two of them. It's close to society.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Councillor Bailey, you have a question?
Yeah, we've went through this as said Nicole, pretty at length at planning and development. And there was concerns about what does a potential downside look like, but down zoning look like. But I think where the committee came to the resolution, and that's why you see that little tag at the end of it, is if this doesn't go through, we would recommend a future council rezone it back to MER1. is that there's no development that's perfect, right? And if there's one thing I've learned 4 years sitting in this chair, that there's pros and cons to all of them. And it's ultimately getting to the numbers and what's going to actually work. The cart is definitely before the horse. If this was a private developer, we'd be like, no, prove your concept and do all this other stuff. And that would be the correct answer. But in this case, it's a nonprofit society with a goal to provide this extra level of housing, and hopefully this all works out. And I want to say hopefully, because there's a long road to go. Normally, we would have this baked in and it would come to staff and you'd see the whole plans, but not in this case, because they obviously don't want to go forward if council doesn't want to approve the rezoning, right? So that's why I support it. I'm hoping the numbers work. I think, it's going to be tough. The numbers are going to look pretty daunting by the time you put sewer, electrical, you deal with all that, the pads. But if everything goes right, then you end up with some level of seniors housing. Definitely not perfect. There's definitely components there where you could say, yep, this is going to be out of the price range of some, but it's going to be in the price range of many too, right? So it's this development kind of quandary where, and it's been here before, where you go, what is the best approach? And I think in terms of getting some housing on the site, this is likely the best approach. And it's the most realistic approach that we could do at this point, in the absence of, the BC government pulling all housing funding. Like, who would have thought that was going to happen? But that's what did. And so here's a realistic plan B, might even be plan C, but there's something there. And that's, I think, trying to encapsulate what the discussion at planning was. And that's why we have that recommendation. So I do support this. And I just hope all the numbers and all the work that's going to go into it eventually gets it to where it needs to be. But there's going to be other things that council has to deal with, probably variances, probably, development permit. You're going to have to do a few more things on this, but this is to get it going, because if it's not going to get rezoned, then as Jeff said, there's really no reason for them to spend their time on it.
Thanks. Councillor Bushel.
Yeah, through the chair, I'm a 50-50 as well, but I understand where they're coming from. When they went ahead and did their first proposal to us, and they had financing for building, and they had included in that finances was the demolition of the other units. And now they don't have that. And now they have the units still sitting there, which can't continue to sit there, but they have expenses. They have insurance, they have, they have to look after the place, they have to clean it up. So we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard spot. And you think about it all and the whole story of it. I mean, I've had 2 nights sleeping on this. I couldn't sleep the last 2 nights, because it is a major thing we wanted to not do, is we didn't want to downzone properties.
Right.
So yeah, this is a tough one. After hearing a little bit of stuff, I spent some time talking with Jeff today. We're just rezoning the property, and we've asked that if the project doesn't go ahead, that it continues to be multifamily. So I had a tough time on this one last night and the night before, but we're kind of tucked, between a rock and a hard spot. And if we can get the zoning back, if it doesn't go ahead, that would be great. Yeah, I support it.
Councillor Rich.
The chair, so what is the numbers that have to be sold? So if we're going $300 a space, are we going to have an empty trailer park? Like, how is this going to work for us? So if we rezone it all and it doesn't sell, what does that look like for St. Louis?
Well, sure. This rezoning exercise is to get the commitment that we can move forward. The 300,000 a unit, there's nothing in St. Louis that you can buy 1,000 square foot, 300 grand. Across the street, the Haven's 450. They're about 1,000 square feet. There's none in this. The new building on Main Street is $1,650 for 1 bedroom, $1,500 for 2 bedrooms. You can get a mortgage on this at the 300,000 for about 1,700. So it's a second option. I don't presume that a lot of people, I think the people that are seniors are gonna be selling their residential houses outside of the downtown core and moving in here. There's already been conversation about it. We have to have, it's another stepping block. We have a special general meeting on August the 3rd, which we have to hold because the membership has to vote in favor of this as well. So if we get shot down here or we get shot down there, we're just shot down. So, but I have on numbers on selling 10 and renting 10, on selling 15 and renting 5. And I'm now running the numbers to rent all 20. So I will have that as part of the next conversation. Or if we get that.
So Jeff, what is the square footage of the, oh, sorry, Siobhan, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I do. I'm wondering if we've consulted the neighborhood.
Sorry?
Have we
Yes,
consulted?
I have, we have one neighbor, his name is Mike Benedict. I didn't talk to Jack Ross this week because I haven't seen him yet. But Mike Benedict is in favor of it. In fact, he has his 2 portable garages on our property. He wants to know if I'm gonna go ahead with this because he's leaving to go to Vietnam and Japan on September 20th. And he wants to be able to move them before we leave. But he's in favor. Yeah, he said you may buy it, so.
Has the DOS consulted the neighborhood?
Through the chair, because this is for housing, a public hearing is prohibited, but we do have to advertise that in the newspaper, so we've done that more than once. And then, more than once, we've mailed notification letters to everyone within 50 meters.
Thank you.
No responses to date.
Okay, sorry, my question was, how big, what's the square footage of these units?
1,000.
300,000 for that. I mean, you're gonna have someone, I support this in principle, because I believe in the seniors housing. And so what age group are you looking, because it's same
55.
55 plus.
And we're also gonna put in there that because for some people it started with their children late in life. Like,
Absolutely, that's my question.
it's gonna have some conditions in there. We're just kicking the tires around.
Yeah.
But we know for a fact, my sister's one, she never had her first child until she was 40. So she would have been 55, still 15, living at home.
Yeah. Councillor Bailey?
Yeah, I mean, you have an annual general, or you have a meeting coming up August 5th.
August 3rd.
August 3rd, great. Even better. I mean, what I would just put out to council is we're doing first, second, third here. Just pass it. Our next council meeting for adoption would not come until the end of August. We will know if the membership supports it on that date. If they do not, obviously this doesn't proceed. We just don't adopt it. But what we can say is in principle, and I guess that's what people have to decide and their vote, in principle to support it. If it does get approved by their membership, we would go through to adoption. But yeah, that's just kind of the sequence. But I guess it all comes down to if there's questions about the rezoning and you don't want that there, then we should just give a clear answer now rather than wait. I've made my position clear, but that's what I would suggest doing though, is that we would know after August 3rd whether you guys have the support. I presume they would, but if not, then no harm, no foul kind of way, because we just wouldn't adopt the rezoning.
Go ahead, Councillor McCary.
It makes sense. Can't believe it.
You can't believe it?
I'm sorry. It makes sense, Councillor B.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, you're getting soft.
Councillor, I know, right?
Yeah.
Thank you to the chair. Yeah, I appreciate all the good answers and it is going to look a lot, if it does go through, it's going to look a lot better than the Haven. So
Absolutely. Have you checked with a local building or builder for smaller units? To see if you could,
That's requested Kylo Homes to give me a price on park models. Country Homes to give me a price on park models. And I got a price from a company in Saskatchewan. And their number, but I mean, I'm going by what I need to do to sell them. And how much money I need to have left over to pay for the demolition services of the lots and all the rest of it. So at a park model, $190,000. And service costs are all the same, the lots would have been all the same, all those costs would have been the same. I don't think I could have sold the park models for 300,000. Maybe, but they're only 538 square feet. I think that this was a better deal for the 55 plus crowd. Which are people that are wanting to get to downsize and they know for the long term that they need to be in close proximity. Like I'm selling that, so it's too big. It's a lot of work. I'd be happy to buy one. It's close to town. You can walk, go to your appointments, and to the Legion.
maybe you should be the first sale. All right, council, do you have any other questions for Jeff? Okay, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That's all carried. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support.
Good luck.
No, so Councillor Rich was in favor.
No, she was opposed.
Oh, was she opposed? Sorry.
he's in favor.
Okay. Sorry, Siobhan, can you just clarify, were you in favor?
In favor.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Okay, so we're going to wildlife attractant bylaw number 1080/2026. Recommendation that the District of Sycamore's wildlife attractant bylaw number 1080/2026 be given first reading this 22nd day of July 2026. Can I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Beach, Nicole.
Okay, thank you through the chair. So this one is a really different bylaw that we talked about, I think, at the last, maybe the whole meeting. And so direction out of that meeting was that staff be directed to prepare this bylaw, the wildlife attractant bylaw, for first reading, and that a public consultation plan be implemented. So that's what we're doing tonight. The bylaw has been drafted for first reading. Attached to that is some proposed fines that aren't being considered for tonight. That'll be in a future, next to the ticketing. But then also attached to the report is a proposed plan for being out to the public and getting feedback from the public on what they think about this wildlife attractant bylaw. So I can go into more detail for the bylaw, but I think we just discussed it at the last committee of the whole. We just see it as our plan to communicate with the public. So the idea would be we do first reading tonight, hopefully that passes. And then we would do public engagement up until our next council meeting and then present the results of that engagement. And the council can decide where to go from there.
Council, do you have any questions? Let's call the question. All in favor then. Okay, that's carried.
There you go.
When did you, I can't see you.
I don't know if she's there.
Okay, staff reports. Digital Res Software Corp. Unit 2B-217 Finlayson Street lease agreement renewal. There's a recommendation that council authorize the mayor and corporate officer to execute a lease agreement at 217 Finlayson Street under 2B commencing, Unit 2B commencing on September 1st, 2026 with Digital Res Software Corporation. Could I get a mover? Councillor Evans, Councillor Bushel, Bianca, do you want to?
So this is to renew Digital Res's space at 217 Finlayson. It is a 2-year lease agreement, which is in alignment with council's resolution for the incubator. So making sure not to align those two. So to not tie up future council's decisions on 217 Finlayson. And it has a 10% increase in rent included in it. And other than that, all the terms of the agreement.
Same.
Yeah.
Council, any questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Riverside Water Main Upgrade, request for proposal award. Recommendation that the contract for the Riverside Avenue Water Main upsizing and road improvements be awarded to FNA Services Limited at the bid price of $786,044 plus applicable GST. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bushel, Councillor Beach, Bianca.
Yeah, so just pretend I'm Daryl. So this is for the awarding for the final phase down Riverside, taking us to the roundabout for the upsizing of the water main. It includes concrete walkways for replacement, stamped concrete around the roundabout. And we had 8 submissions received, of which FNA Services Ltd was top price. They're technically based out of northern BC. They have done some projects around here, and all of their references and stuff with other municipalities have checked out. They've done similar projects and had good success for that. For that reason, awarding to FNA Services Ltd.
Thanks. That was going to be my question, that we've done reference checks. Okay, perfect. Council, any questions? Bushel.
Just for the, I just wondered who did the last phase, or last 2 phases?
Yeah, the last 2 phases were General Assembly.
Okay, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? Thank you. The Finlayson Playground Replacement Request for Proposal Award Recommendation, the council award request for proposal number 1220-20-177 Finlayson Playground Replacement to Green Roots Play Equipment, Inc., and that council authorized staff to enter into a contract for the project not to exceed the budgeted amount of $150,000 plus its applicable taxes. Councillor Bushel, Councillor Evans, Bianca.
This one is mine, and I'm very excited about it because we previously put this one out to RFP last year and didn't have the greatest success. We did quite a bit of public input last year to figure out what was needed, and what the community really got loud and clear was our play structure, which is over 25 years old now and needs to be replaced, is beloved. I quite like the structure. It does the job. However, it does need to be replaced. So we're 25 years later, and of course, play structures have changed a lot. So we received 6 submissions for this, 3 were well over budget, but we had 3 quite good ones. And with the top pick being Green Roots Play Equipment, Inc. They gave 3 options. Option 2 satisfied the most of what the public was looking for. So just some renderings down at the bottom here. The big thing here is in Sicamous, when it comes to play structures, the structure down at, for example, our last new one, the beach park, is rated for children 5 to 12. This play structure mainly is used for pre-K. So, and this is very important, especially when care providers are bringing children to this playground. They cannot take, say, a daycare down to Sicamous Beach Park because of those liability issues. So this play structure here is compliant for 2 to 5, and actually quite a few of the sections are actually as low as 18 months. So it'll give that. And then we also have a new, I forget what they call this, the little scoop. Different little options here. There will be, this picture doesn't depict it, but the fence will stay, very helpful for speedy toddlers. And there will be 4 big benches placed, and then it will be, pea gravel is not accessible. Rubber matting, pros and cons to it. This will be engineered wood chip. And yeah, any questions on it? I'll be more than happy, but Green Roots give this. We're probably gonna be slightly different colors, trying to keep it as natural as possible. But yeah.
And we did reference checks on these folks as well.
Yes, we did.
we talked to Lumbee and they said if they ever have enough money to do another playground, they will be using these nets again.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
Counselor Rich.
Yeah, through the chair, I've dealt with Green Roots through the school. They're absolutely fabulous. And I love that we're going, so when we say 18 months and under, that doesn't mean anybody over. It just means everybody is then accessible to that playground. So thank you for staff and everything you're going to do. This playground is very well used by our taxpayers, but it's also really used by our tourists too. So I'm super excited about this. I really appreciate all the work you've done on this one.
Anyone else? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? And that passes. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go into our CAO report. Dean, do you want to take that away?
Thank you very much. So this is my CA report for July. Give you an update on a number of projects we have going on in the community, which we do on a regular basis. Give you an update there. Important ones, the public works with our IRB program and what we're building there. The rehab of the 2 ribs is complete. The construction of rib 4 is well underway, and we're anticipating all of the components will be completed at the end of this month. Fencing will go in, restoration of the dog park area. The planting of trees will follow that component, installation of benches and restoring into some of the pieces that were there before. A very important component is we've successfully had exceptional percolation. Is the way the water moves through the ponds has been better than expected. Percolation equals length of life. The better the percolation, the longer this is going to act as a solution for sycamoose. This is really important in that more percolation means we have more capacity in this addition to our plant for a longer future and for more developments in the future. So as more developments occur in sycamoose, it's comforting to know that this project is going to give us more capacity for more people to be in our community and not create a large capital cost for a new form of treatment facility, which is what we're trying to avoid. This is going to carry that line much further into the future. We had an objective of 10 to 15 years. The high percolation, once we finish the project, we'll do some calculation, but it's looking to be more in the 20-year plus scenario as far as solution. So percolation is a great word for 2026. The percolation of the wastewater treatment plant has been exceptional. The work that was done on our water treatment plant, same word, percolation, the way that we can move water through there with the additional banks of filters means we have a higher capacity for water. So these are the things that are critical infrastructure for the community to be able to grow. We're seeing the growth. You see all the applications we list on these reports to council. You have all these projects going on. Key factor for that for the community is that we're not creating development that can't be supported by the infrastructure that's here. Sewer and water is your 2 most expensive components of supporting development. Both of those are being addressed by projects that this council is doing today, so that in the future, we're not running into a roadblock. We're also not running into large taxpayer costs to deal with it at that point in time. So it's very proactive of this council to take these projects on now so that our future is protected. So I think that's a key part of the reporting here. Got to give Daryl and his team of Public Works a lot of credit for the work that they've done. Very innovative, very task management has been exceptional, and they've done a great job on both those projects. And a lot of that work is being done by contractors, but there's a lot of work that our Public Works team does to make that successful, particularly around the water treatment. Our team did a lot of that work. So a lot of credit goes to those Public Works people who have done such a great job. We appreciate all the work that they do. And this is supporting for the future of the community, which is great to see. The other Public Works piece we had is the park on Main Street next to our healing center is now complete. The benches have gone in, the plants have been planted. There's going to be some additional works for the grounds around that area. Doing the top dressing at this time of year for the grass areas is not ideal. It can become very quickly muddy. So we'll wait till fall and there's not as much foot traffic, and we'll do some more top dressing. You'll just see the top dressing on the path areas adjacent to them. There's more that needs to go across the whole site. So that's still to happen, but the plant materials are in, the benches are in, and the planters are installed and in place. It looks quite good. Staff continue to work on the OCP, and Nicole and her team is completing the next sort of component of updates to that document, so that we can get that adopted and get that into place, so we can begin work on the zoning bylaw, which has a bunch of components that need work. We had Scott Builders back in town to do the review of the health center and all the components of efficiency that have been identified. Staff did the walkthroughs with the Scott Builder team, identified a number of components. Scott Builders has contractors that are now coming back to complete those deficiencies, as well as looking at some additions the district has added for, and we had some discussions about some additional railings and so forth. That is being done by those contractors coming back to do that, or additional contractors are being brought in at the same time to cover those components. So that is part of our warranty, as well as some additional work that the district needs. After being in there for a year, we're starting to recognize what the space requires and what's needed. Sound baffles and things like that are things that we're coming as additions to it now that we've been in there a year and used the space. They've been identified as something that's needed. We were successful in our UBCM grant for Next Generation 911 for $28,200. So this is Nicole and June and their team. They've been working hard on this piece, which is to see. We were not successful in our strategic priorities fund application. This was for the upgrades to Finlayson Park. So staff are now looking at other opportunities. And Bianca and her team has already begun work on applications that we can pursue other ways of grant application for that project, as well as for the liquid waste management plan. That's my update.
Thank you. That's unfortunate about Finlayson Place, and that whole upgrade in that area.
It's small though.
It was.
Yeah.
You know, and Ian and I went and pitched that particular grant, and yeah, we knew it was a long shot, but staff put together a great proposal and did a great job. We did all we could to try to get it, but
It
unfortunately.
was like 1,000 applications and very little money. So it was a long shot, but it's worth the shot.
Absolutely. Councillor Rich?
You're muted.
You're muted. You're still muted.
Muted
Tap to unmute. How's that? Can you hear me now?
now.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so a couple questions. Parking is becoming an issue in Sycamus. I know it's only 2 months a year, getting tons of complaints. So that would be my first question. And then my second question is, because our grant didn't go through, do we have a backup plan on how we're going to not just maintain our park, but make it better? Jake's working really hard on getting these ball tournaments in. I think, don't quote me on this, but he's had 3 tournaments, which you can quote me on that part. But I think each tournament had about 20 teams. And all those people are coming in to spend time in Sycamus. Jake the other day sent me a newspaper article about someone fell in a community park and now they're suing the park. So do we have some kind of backup plan to keep upgrading our baseball fields? Because we have someone in the community who was recognized, and we didn't do that today in our council reports, but Jake was actually recognized within BC for being a sports leader. And we need to recognize that like literally right now, because nobody brought it up and I didn't either. I'm not calling anyone out. But how are we going to get our ball fields better so we can keep bringing these tournaments into town?
Dean?
Sure. So 2 parts to that question. One is, what are we going to do now? We're going to continue forward with a turf management plan. We'll be meeting with Jake and talking about what upgrades to do this fall in anticipation of next year. We'll begin those works this fall for trying to upgrade our fields as best we can as far as our turf management plan. That's a key component to it. We don't wait till next spring to do that work. We'll do that in the fall, start components of it this fall, as soon as we can get on those fields. Once the summer season and our tourist community begins to settle, we'll go onto those fields and start doing some top dressing. Well, there's no ball going on. That's the key part to it. The second part to that question is how we're going to build the sort of larger plan. And in my report, we've outlined some places that we're going to begin to look at grant applications for, and we'll continue to pursue for the larger improvement monies, but we're not going to stop and not do anything. We're going to move forward with our trip management plan, and we'll be meeting with Jake over the next month in order to begin that work this fall.
And thank you, Dean, and thank you, Jake, too. I'm sorry I didn't put it in my council report, but yeah, excellent job, Jake. We appreciate everything you do for us in Sycamus.
Thank you, council. Anyone else have any questions? I do. Dean, from Kelly's report or Kelly's presentation 2 weeks ago, do we know what's happening at the fire hall? Have they made any moves, any changes for road recovery?
So the contract has been identified to take away the foam. So we have a series of large bins and small bins that are creating a storage issue and really cramping the space where EVR is located. That foam has now got a destination and it's going to be picked up. That was all approved through budgeting process through Bianca. So then now the contractor is going to pick up with it and properly dispose of it. That's going to open up a whole bunch more space. Our chief, as well as the EVR chief, is meeting about lockers and spaces. I understand that everything's in order. Continue to follow up with Clayton to make sure that him and Jeff, who's the chief for EVR, are continuing to meet. Long term, we've put in for quotes for components of the fire hall for the future, and we'll begin looking for grants. There's two parts to that. One is an addition potential for the fire hall, create a new classroom space and allow for current classroom space to become a locker area. That would add additional capacity to the overall hall, as well as a hose tower, which would be a separate apparatus that would go on the south side of the building, which would just be a vertical tower, which would allow the hoses to get out of the base. That creates an additional space as well. So those two components, we're getting estimates from Scott Builders for the purposes of seeking grants. So we're just getting a costing for it, and then we'll begin to pursue money for those two pieces.
Great.
So longer term plan and a short term.
So short term, that foam will be leaving when? Like soon, so that they can, within the week?
So,
Okay, so then they can start making some space for themselves in there. Okay, thank you. Councillor Bushel.
yep, through the chair, Dean, I just wanted to update you on that 2 mile parking on the beach. That looks like they moved, somebody's dragged the no post blocks out of the way, and they're all driving down to the beach now. So I was out there today and I took a picture and I'll send it to you, but something to be, a little bit.
I noticed that.
Driving right down on.
Why would they do that?
At 2 mile. In front of the parking.
People. Siobhan? Sorry.
Oh, it's gone.
Anything else? Okay. Carry on. Okay. Resolution, Sycamus Legion Branch 99, commemorative crosswalk installation. Recommendation, council authorize the installation of a commemorative crosswalk adjacent to the cenotaph in partnership with the Royal Canadian Legion branch number 99, and that council authorizes the CEO to execute an agreement with the Legion outlining the responsibilities of the installation and maintenance of the commemorative crosswalk. Could I get a mover? Councillor Bailey, Councillor Bushel.
So this is, as discussed in committee of the whole, would allow for the Legion to install commemorative crosswalk at the 2 locations. There's 4 locations on 2 crosswalks as proposed. As there is a policy in place, we're asking for a council resolution to authorize this to go through. And the agreement is just to simply give them the authorization, but also ensure that the Legion does do the maintenance that's going to be required, which is going to be the annual painting. We annually paint the crosswalks. Every year after we paint the crosswalks, they'll come put the stencil down and repaint the army or the soldier figure.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Yep, you had a good day.
Dude, yeah.
Okay, so we are going to Transportation Society Economic Opportunity Funds request. And there is a resolution here, but Malcolm, do you want to explain why you're recusing yourself?
I have a conflict because I'm the president.
Out the door you go. And we'll see you next meeting.
Yeah.
There's a recommendation of the district of Sycamore authorize use of the Sycamoose area economic opportunity funds in the amount of $10,000 for the Eagle Valley Transportation Society. Councillor Evans, Councillor Beach. And Bianca, do you want to?
Yeah. So this is just a formal resolution that's required to the CSRD for use of the economic opportunity funds. At the last meeting, Rona just mentioned it was received that day when we were talking about economic opportunity funds. So it's for $10,000 to be used for operating costs of the society. So it's to cover off insurance, other operating costs. Society $10,000, and the society is actively working with Eagle Valley Community Support Society to expand their board. So they'll be probably being hopefully more to come as their society expands a bit.
That's awesome. That's great. And I believe this is a great cause because our seniors do need to get to doctor's appointments. And I think the service is great for our community. So helping them as much as we can is a good thing, as well as I think they're restructuring the society. Councillor Evans.
Yeah, just a comment. Thank you through the chair. Last week I was able to give a 90-year-old fella a ride to an appointment in Salmon Arm, and folks just they need the service. Some of them can hardly walk, and it's just such a great thing, especially at $2 a liter for volunteers like me to be able to get an electric car and take them where they need to go, even to Kelowna for procedures. So it's a fantastic thing that we have in this town for our seniors, and I'm really proud of this.
Great. Okay, call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, we have correspondence for information. Does anyone have anything that they would like to speak to? The post office? Go ahead, Council.
No, I was just going to comment and I didn't, I mean, it's not really anything pertaining to sickness unless it is. Just the letter from Merrick about people traveling from outside the community to police high flying pigeons in the city. I was just going to ask, first of all, I didn't know this was an issue, but we don't have this issue, do we? Like high flying pigeons?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, neither do I. That's why I'm asking. Does anybody know? No?
Apparently Merritt has a problem with
A high flying pigeon.
pigeons, and they don't want people bringing their pigeons to town.
I did not know this was a concern.
Councillor Evans.
I was gonna say, could we send a letter to Merritt and ask if we can take crews of guys to have some fun and shoot pigeons?
Well, you're gonna get a letter on that one, Bob. You're gonna get a letter.
We disagree. Go ahead, Dave.
You guys are.
These pigeons are actually quite valuable, and they actually have the prizes for the races are pretty significant. So people that do the pigeon racing, there is a culture and a club out there that does that. So people that raise them do spend significant amounts of monies to raise the pigeons. It's not common to see them outside of southern regions. There's not very many places in Canada. I only know because I have an uncle that does it out of Penticton. He did it for many years. He got too old and had to sell his pigeons, but had the rookery in the back of his farm and did this for many years. And so, yes, they can be suddenly you have a whole flurry, proper name, flock of pigeons in your community. So I don't think we would see it in Sycamoose. We have too many ospreys and eagles and other birds that would lay prey to the pigeons, and they are very high value. And I think the other component is actually too cool up here. They like to be in more southern climates.
Wow. No, where did they get those little jockeys from?
Yeah, really tiny.
Really tiny jockeys, really tiny saddles. Okay, all right, enough of that. Committee and regional district reports, internal committee for none of those. No external committees reports. The Columbia Shuswap Regional District report is in there for information. And we are at public input. So if anyone would like to ask a question or make a comment, we are all ears.
I just say thank you for the playground and all the work that Leon has done for the preschool playground.
Thanks, Mary. Deb?
I do never own up to this ever again, but I'd like to say thank you to Jeff for finding a creative solution to what, like the cost of construction and the cost of home replacement and things, and new construction, whether it's manufactured, home, stick built, whatever. It's insane these days, and the fact that he came up with something like this that it actually put off, because that age of homes, the quality homes, put it in, that much housing into St. Luke's. I know it may not be everybody's ideal solution, but I think you get great pride of ownership in, it's what I found, people own those homes, and it's a really great creative solution for a big problem.
Yeah.
Knowing what the haven is like and what it's going to involve, getting it out of it or not.
And Hardy Board. Wow.
Yeah, boy.
Jeff, stop getting emotional, okay? Anyone else in the gallery? How about online? Hey, you guys, it is. There's 15 minutes off. Look at that. It is 5:57. We're going to adjourn the regular council meeting. The mover, Evans, Bushel, all in favor. And we're